Hi, Jens. It's nice to meet you via this mode of conversation. Hopefully, one day we'll get together in person. But for now, I would like you to tell a few words about yourself so that our international audience understands how you combine, from what I understand, different. You're wearing several hats. You've been an entrepreneur. You still own a business. You invest in other funds. So if you just give me a few words about what keeps you busy this week, and then we'll go and we'll unwind all those activities. Like,
Right.
what is it?
So we love technology. I have been in technology for many years, and in particular, I love cloud technology. So I follow trends. I read about business all the time, continues to see where the new cutting edge technology is heading. So that keeps me busy. Besides my own hotel in Costa Rica.
Interesting. How did you decide that you want to own a hotel? You know, if you make the bridge from cloud computing, and I understand that you have a computer science degree from one of the top US universities, how do you end up running a hotel?
So, the freedom that I always wanted, it was not really in the tech industry. So if you work a day job in the tech industry, you are consumed by the small details, and rarely you have an opportunity to see the big picture. So I wanted a break from all that. And so I decided the best thing to do is running a hotel. Hotels are run seasonally. So there have months where you're really busy, there are months you're not so busy. So I actually get to travel 2 months out of the year. I travel 1 month in the United States and 1 month in Europe. Another job will never give me that, right? So I had that freedom to do that.
You know, we often have arguments if entrepreneurship is something that can be taught or you are born an entrepreneur. So, what's your case? When did you know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur and have your own business? Were you born with that, or when? How did it come about?
I think you are not necessarily born with it. I think other characteristics are inside of you. For instance, your passion, your drive, um, your curiosity, all those different things that you grow up with. Eventually, you realize you can be an entrepreneur because you are not afraid of taking risk. And holding, for instance, building a hotel or investing on the venture capital, it is a risk. But an entrepreneur loves taking risks. And I always thought that it's good to take risks as long as they are intelligent risks. So in my life, I always taken risks. I left Costa Rica when I was 15 years old by myself. That's a huge risk, right? Leaving my family to pursue a dream. So in general, I think that you are not necessarily born, but you have characteristics as a human being that actually lead you to become an entrepreneur.
Hmm. But you also worked for some big companies in the beginning of your career. Would you, what would be your recommendation for someone who does want to work in this entrepreneurial world? Do you need to work for a big company first, or do you just jump in and start your business on your own if you know what you want to do and you know what your passion is? What in your opinion is a better way to a company?
Right. I think that if you are rare, there's a people who are very amazing, they have rare skills, they could potentially start their own business without having any experience in the corporate world. But I think the majority of people, I highly recommend working first for other people, understand how the operation works and understand mistakes, because working in a corporate world is not just about learning the good things, it's also learning about mistakes and bad things that happens that you, when you have your own business, you realize what things to do and not to do, right? So it's good to have
Mhm.
that kind of skill set first. That's my recommendation is get some experience in a corporate world, force yourself to enjoy it and get to know people, because those relationships, for instance, has taken me where I am today. All those connections that you made in the corporate world takes you to a new, different level. So if you start by yourself, your own business, you have maybe a few connections. But if you have worked in a corporate world, you will have a lot more connection. If you make friends, it's all about friendships and connection, who you know and what experience you have.
Mhm. Well, it sounds like you found your passion and that's what you're doing. And you, for now, don't have any, from what I understand, have no intention of switching from your business. But I also understand that you participate in other people's businesses as an investor.
Correct.
So in our international audience, we do have some aspiring investors, people who, like yourself, have made money in industries that are not maybe that high tech. What is the best way, in your opinion, to invest in high tech companies where you do not want to assume a major role of managing that company, but you do want to invest in them? What is the best way to invest in somebody else's high tech company?
So I think, there are you're right. It depends on the level of risk that people want to take. There are different approach. If you want to have a direct impact, then you can become an employee of the business. That's the best way you can impact the business, being a day-to-day operation, right? But I don't have the time for that anymore, but I love technology. And the best way to be involved is through a venture capitalist, because they ultimately, I'm a limited partner, but they are managing partner who can manage the day-to-day decisions on how they manage the relationship with the startups. And again, I don't want to be involved in so much work, because that's what I ran from, right? I was working a day-to-day job in technology. And so then I
Yeah,
decided to build my own hotel, and then invest back in technology, but in a way that is not so much time consuming.
right. Yeah, also because we meet so many potential investors, and I think that is one big mistake the aspiring investors, especially from emerging markets, make when they invest in a company, but they want to tell the management of the company how to run their business, and then it's not the same. So there are some active angel investors who maybe if the company lets them do it, it's okay. But the proper way, I agree with you, is when if you want to participate in this high-tech world, you invest in a venture fund you believe in, and then you trust the management team of that fund to
Right.
make investments. And then how often do you get their reports? Is it once a quarter, once a month?
Once a
Like,
quarter, I get the report, but also I have direct connection to them. I can email them anytime and ask how things are going. I could call them on the phone if I want to and reach out straight to the managing partner. And they are available all the time.
right.
What you said is actually very key. I think that investing is very risky, and I think investing is not for everybody. If you have children, if you have little money, if you put all the money into venture capital, you know that eventually it might be gone. You might get nothing back. So depending on your situation,
Exactly.
I say you have to be careful. If you can
Yeah.
afford to invest, you can do that. Now, one thing that you point out is extremely important is I highly recommend people to actually look into venture capitalists, and maybe they have a friend or someone they can trust, because trust is key, right? You're not going to
Yep.
be doing a day-to-day job. You're trusting somebody else to do that for you. You're trusting they are smart, they trust they're honest, and all those different things. So that is really important.
Mm-hmm. And well, will you comment a little bit on that particular investment environment in Costa Rica? Because I know like everything about the US, we have access to Europe, but I personally have never been to Costa Rica. So what's happening there? Are there high-tech companies? Are there investors?
So in Costa Rica, it's well known for tourism. But in fact, Costa Rica is really high tech. In fact, one of the startups that I invested in California, and sorry, in Colorado, they do have staff in Costa Rica. Costa Rica have highly and a highly software skilled employees there, so they know a lot. We have, I think, Amazon has about 10,000 employees in Costa Rica. We have HP, we have VMware, we have many companies in Costa Rica doing high tech. Now, I particularly did not invest in a business in Costa Rica in a high tech. I invested in travel and tourism.
Mhm.
But what we did is my spouse is an aerospace engineer and I'm a software engineer. So we wanted to do something very different. So we created a hotel that's very unique. We're listed in Forbes magazine, one of the best boutique hotels in the world. We are actually very sustainable. We have no AC, no TV. and we
What?
charge, yeah,
Costa Rica, you just have an AC?
and then we charge about
Dude.
$1,000 a night. We have typically the people that come to our hotel are actually many venture capitalists. Many are billionaires or millionaires around the world, or honeymooners that comes to Costa Rica. They're just people who want to disconnect and have a good time. So we create a hotel that's actually very appealing for very wealthy people around the world. So 50% of our guests are European, 50% are American. So 50-50.
Huh. All sounds like my next destinations once we're allowed to travel. Speaking of that, how do you survive the pandemics? Because, you know, the hotel industry has been hit the hardest, and the
Right,
travel in general. So
right.
how do you survive? What do you do
So
to
this is
cope?
important, right? So many hotels around the world, including Costa Rica, are struggling financially. In fact, many of them are for sale
Yeah.
because they have very little money. Unfortunately, I'm okay. My spouse and I have saved money and we invested wisely. So what we actually did in March, we completely shut down our hotel. So since March, we have not received a single hotel guest. Instead, what we've done is day trading in the stock market. And for us, has turned out to be one of the best things we've done because the volatility going on in the market, we're taking advantage of that. So we've done quite well this year.
But the hotel itself, you still need to maintain it. You still need to keep all the facilities intact.
Correct.
You still,
Correct. So we
yeah.
funded the hotel through our day trading. I mean, we are making significant amount of money. And
In
so,
your classic, yeah, because people think that startups can be only, or businesses only can be high tech. And I go like, no, if you have an entrepreneur as a founder, they will find a way to deal with it in a way that all entrepreneurs can. And that's what you're showing you actually have done. Well, that's really interesting. I hope we do stay in touch. And if
but one
people
more
want
thing,
to find you, what's the best way to find you?
LinkedIn. In LinkedIn,
LinkedIn?
yeah, but what's one
Okay.
thing also important to tell you is as an entrepreneur, and this hopefully goes out to everybody, if you're able to give back, it's important. So this year, because of COVID and what's going on in the hotel industry, we decided to have a US-based charity organization. We created one, and we had raised over $30,000, and we are helping our town right now. So instead of giving free food like most people do, we instead
Right.
people to do community work so they can clean the beach, clean the school, build trails, build bridges in a community. And in exchange, we give them food and things. So we raised $30,000. In fact, if you look at my day in LinkedIn, it's a lot
Mhm.
of pictures of what's going on in town, but everyone is surprised how the town has been so active during this time. So we're taking advantage of that.
This is remarkable. Well, that's a note that all our listening entrepreneurs and they should pay attention to, because times can be difficult. You know, now it's pandemics, another time it's something else. And if you are a true entrepreneur, to your point, you give, and the bigger you give away, the bigger your business becomes as a foundation. Well, thank you so much. It was fun talking to you, and I do hope that we will see each other in person, either in San Francisco or maybe in Costa Rica or some other place. And good luck with your business. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Jens.
Bye.